But using my fingers, I just brush down gently, and you'll see it kind of just comes out. Oh, I think the table's getting more icing on my mouth. Hey everybody, this is Katarina from Doll of Desserts. I thought I'd take some time while I got the buttercream fresh and ready out to show you how to use a piping bag properly. Now this video is going to be interspersed with using a piping bag both on a cake as well as me showing you technique step by step. But really what it comes down to with a piping bag is practice. You really need to just get some icing, even get the Betty Crocker stuff from the tub, put it in a piping bag with some tips and practice different shapes, different textures, different colors. Same thing with using icing on a cake. It's really important to just practice and get used to the elements of what you're working with, how the cake behaves, how the icing behaves, under what temperatures, how long it's been mixed. All of those things play a huge factor into getting perfect professional piping. And let me tell you, as somebody who wasn't a professional when they started off this, it took a long time for me to figure all these things out, and I still am learning. I am by no means a professional. I'm just showing you what works for me, and I would say that what works for me is probably what works for somebody who did not go to pastry school and is really not the most artistic either, because I'm really not a visual person and I'm not the most detail oriented when it comes to visuals. And within this, I kind of have some cheats and some ways that you can get around with piping in a very efficient, lazy, but still really pretty way. When it comes to piping bag is number one. You're gonna need to get yourself a nice piping bag. You can get reusable ones, you can get throw-out ones. I prefer the disposable ones because they're annoying to clean. And you'll see what I'm doing here. I should probably not. So what I've done, you can see this here, and it'll show it in the cake video too, is I kind of shoved my hand in the bag and I opened it up, right in there. And this is where we're going to shove all of our icing. This is also the opportunity if you're going to use a piping tip, like the one I have here, which is an Ateco A23. It's got a nice little star tip. It's really cute. It makes really, really cute things like with the piping that we did on our carrot cupcakes. Makes little cute rosettes. This is your opportunity to shove it in there. So I'm going to pop it in because I would like to use the piping tip right now. But you'll notice in the cake piping video that I am showing as B-roll that there is no piping tip in there. And that's just purely, you know, technique of putting icing on a cake in a consistent stream. So I've shoved the tip in and I'm going to cut a hole about not right at the tippy tip at the bottom of it, because you know you're not gonna get icing. You kind of have to cut it somewhere here, like midway. So I'm gonna push it out a little bit. Try to cut it smaller than bigger, because if you screw up and you cut the hole too big and your whole piping tip falls out, then you're gonna have to get a new piping bag. But if you cut too small, then you don't have to worry. See? So there you go. Now it's perfect. I cut it. I'm going to reopen it. Shove my hand in. That's key. I'm being silly. All right, and now I'm going to take my icing. This time I'm using buttercream. And I'm just basically going to use my spatula, as you can see here, and kind of dump it in. And I'm going to try and be careful to not get the sides, because it's going to become a sticky disaster if you're not holding the bag properly. It also ensures if you're trying to get it right in the hole and you're not trying to get it on the sides too much, it just makes it for you easier later, because you're not wasting as much icing because you're not trying to get it off the sides once the bag is closed. You'll understand what I mean. So now that I've kind of filled up my hole here, I'm going to carefully lift the bag up. And I might add some more. All of my crummy icing, because I'm just gonna eat it all. Yummy, yummy. And I'm just gonna close it up. Unfold the bag. Okay. Nice flat triangle. I'm gonna use my fingers and kind of push the icing down from the sides again. Just trying to make sure we get all the icing to the bottom so it doesn't come out the top later. All right, and now it's time for technique. You're gonna make an L shape with your dominant hand. Loser. No, you're gonna make an L shape with your dominant hand and not try and terrorize anyone. And take your piping bag with your other hand. You're gonna kind of put it right in the crook of your hand. Crook with your thumb and your index finger. Okay, you see what I just did there? L, and I close the top, okay? This is what holds all the juice inside the bag from falling out. You wanna have control on the top of this thing at all times. Now that it's closed, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna twist it. Because twisting it is gonna further guarantee that stuff's not gonna come out the top. Oh, it's gonna come out the bottom though. Now that it's twisted, I've still got it in the crook, right? I've still got it here. I'm gonna basically kind of use my thumb and index finger to hold it tight and hold it shut. And neither three fingers are what's gonna put pressure on the bag, right? Puts pressure on the bag to get the icing out the bottom, right? I'm not gonna be pushing it from the top because if I do, I don't have good control. When they hold it like this, it's kind of like a pencil. Like I can now like, woo, you know? But using my fingers, I just press down gently and you'll see it kind of just comes out and you can control the speed. You can go really fast. You can go real slow. Oh, I think the table's getting more icing than my mouth. Anyways, and then you can just practice shapes. Really that simple. And whenever you need to refill it, all you gotta do is roll the top back down, fill up that hole like you did before, and just continue as is. But the key again is always making sure you're keeping the top of the bag closed and staying on top of the icing. Do not overload these things. It's better to underload than overload because then it becomes really hard to control the icing. And other pro tip is to make sure that the icing is at room temperature. If it's too cold to work, you'll have to apply a lot of pressure to get it out of the bag, which could lead to your piping tip exploding out the bottom of the bag or uneven icing. It's a lot of disasters. And that's how easy it is to pipe. Practice makes perfect. Keep going at it. I promise you'll get there. Whenever I did R&D for a cake, as you'll see in the cake videos, I bake my cakes in a flat sheet rather than in rounds and cut them out. Whatever was left over with the cake bits, I would use that to kind of sample my R&D or try different things or just have a snack. So this is literally what I would do when I was craving cake and I didn't want to eat a whole cake or have to, you know, make one. Just pop a little icing on some cake bit, put a little half Oreo. Yup. Half Oreo, not quarter, half Oreo. Some chocolate ganache here. Oh yeah, oh shoot, that was a lot. Oh well. God damn, we made good cakes. So good.